What is going on, people? What it do, what it do. Today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. What I've learned during this pandemic. And I got a few other things I want to go ahead talk about and get off my chest. Hold on a second. Well, I'll put that up there later. Hopefully everyone is having a good week. First, I need to do a little housekeeping. All right, let's go ahead and have this conversation. I have many of you who are hitting me up on Facebook, who are hitting me up on Instagram, who are hitting me up on the YouTubes with, some of you, like I've got like 1,000 messages on Facebook I haven't even looked at. I'm scared to go in there. So starting right now, I will not be answering any questions on Instagram, YouTube. Like if it's a live stream, I'll still do that. But essentially what we need to do is get this more systemized, and you will have to hit up my assistant first. Whether you are someone that's just from the internets or a course creator or a member of, you will have to go through my assistant first, because what's happening is literally throughout the day, I can get like 100 queries across the board, and it's overwhelming. It's too much to keep up with. So that's done. So if you want to talk to me, and I sent out messaging to everyone in Hustlers Kung Fu, B School for Hustlers, and she is messaging everyone. So essentially that's going to be your first point of contact. Second thing, if you call the number, do not call and say, hey, I have a few questions, call me back. Don't do that. Call, state your name, and what is your question? State your question. State your question. State your question. It's just wild. So that's some of the stuff that is going on, because essentially to grow this business, and I know a lot of you really feel a connection with me. I appreciate that from the YouTube videos. But I cannot sit and talk to everybody. And for you folks who's like, I only need 2 minutes. I only need 2 minutes, man. No. You go through my assistant, and then essentially this is the process. Assistant, she's been working on this all day. There's already some questions, and the questions will be handled tomorrow morning. This is the procedure that we're going to do. Each morning when she comes in, we're going to sit down, we're going to go over the questions, she's going to fire back responses, and this is how we're going to create a system and process for this. So that is one of the things. Also, let me go ahead and do this, because I haven't done this in a minute. I've been doing these live streams just straight off. Also, cuff, because we're about to get into some stuff. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Also, let's see. Come on. We're on the fast internet. For those of you who don't know, I have 2 internets. I have Comcast and AT&T fiber. And typically I do a lot of stuff on the AT&T fiber, because what I learned during the pandemic. All right, let's go ahead and get that out. All righty. There we go. There we go. So one of the things, let me put that up here. Run that. All right. Also, let's talk about some training that is going to go down in the corporate toolbox in 2021. I'm getting ready, and let me do this because this is something I've been doing all day. I've been in a planning and development stage. All right, so what we're going to do, because I had some very interesting consults this week, and this was from a, okay, seasoned business owner. Business is 5 years old. He's been making money for 5 years. We're going to have to get into planning and development. We're going to have to get into planning and forecasting. I'm going to have to add that to the corporate toolbox. Planning and development. So what is that? Because essentially during the consulting process, and let me go ahead and give it to you, I'll ask them a bunch of questions about their business, and then I'll make recommendations, and they'll have homework. And what it's been taking people 2 to 3 weeks to get the homework done. Get that free money. Get that free money. And so this is one of the things. This is one of the things that is just coming up. I was corporately trained how to create a sales process. I didn't really understand how important or how lucky I was. I was really, really lucky to actually go through that type of training. I was paid to learn how to sell for this company. So it went really, really well. This is funny. So what we're going to do is to bring this training to the corporate toolbox. Planning, development, processes, how to put this together, because I was talking to this business owner the other day who didn't know any of this stuff. And he went through what I like to call the gauntlet. The gauntlet is those first few years, because we talked about it. He said there are many times he wanted to quit, and I congratulate him, because here's the thing: as a business owner, you don't really get a lot of congratulations, attaboy. And I was like, congratulations for sticking through it, because I know you wanted to quit. He said there was many times I wanted to quit. There were many times I wanted to quit, and essentially we got a bunch of people who are kind of in that space of starting their business and not knowing what questions to ask, not knowing, because one of the things we're going to do, and I'm glad I took this break because we're going to go hard in 2021, is we're going to get into a lot of classes. So if you're in the corporate toolbox, you're going to get all of this training. Also, the next thing I want to address, for those of you who are in the corporate toolbox who missed a payment, let's have this chat right here. I'm giving you the money management course. That's the first thing I tell everyone that gets in the corporate toolbox, to take the money management course. And this is something else. Like every morning, and I have it down to a routine. I check all my accounts. I check my Stripe account. I check my PayPal accounts. I check my corporate banking. I check my personal banking. It takes me about 15 minutes to run through all that. So I know where all my money's doing, and if I got a credit card that I'm using, I'll check that to make sure that fraud. Oh yeah, here's a tip. Someone I know got hacked. Stop using your debit card to make purchases. If you use your debit card to make purchases and your debit card gets compromised, guess what? Your checking account gets compromised. They got me at Walmart, but you know what? It was on the credit card. Essentially, I had a Walmart account. I know that no one knew about it because I never talked about it. And some people hacked the Walmart system and got TVs, iPods. It was apparently a young person because they was buying games. And Walmart caught a lot of it. and then they actually picked up a television and got the television for free. And my credit card company just went ahead, canceled that credit card, gave me my money back, and it was a painless, easy. Stop using the debit card, because someone I know got hacked, hit their debit card up, okay? And then the bank was like, we're going to do an investigation and we're not going to instantly credit you the money for 7 to 10 days. So her rent is coming up and she's kind of freaking out. So stop using your debit cards for purchases. Only use your debit card to pull cash out of the bank. Stop doing this, because this is the season where we've had a lot of hacking, a lot of crime. So be on there. All right. So stop using that piece of trash debit card. Stop using it. As Clark Howard used to call it, the piece of trash debit card. All right. So another thing that I want you guys to do is, talking to the folks, because, I haven't done the audit because I don't want to dig into it. Because essentially, let me tell you, if you miss a payment for the corporate toolbox, what they're going to try to do is charge your card 2 times. And after the second time, you get kicked out. Now, what I have to do, I don't have your credit card number. I don't have access to that. So essentially, I would have to set you up with a new plan. So I got to go ahead, audit, see where you are, set the new plan up for you to be where you need to be. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this. You got the money management course. You should know. And I actually, someone was like, hey, did I make my payment? I'm like, why are you asking me? You should know if you made your payment. You know if you paid rent. You know if you paid your car note. You should know. I ignored that because I'm just sitting there like, okay. So we're going to get back into some more money management stuff, because essentially one of the big things that is happening is people are not on top of their money. They're not on top of their money. And for me, I've been doing this for years, so it's just automatic habit for me to be on top of my money. Because essentially during the corporate toolbox, what we're trying to do is get you more money. But here's the thing. If you are messing up the money you already make, guess what you're going to do with more money? You're going to mess it up. You're going to mess it up. So this is why the money management course, even though it's boring, that's why you need to do it. You need to be on top of your money. So we're going to start having some money classes. So we're going to start doing that. Oh, all kinds of stuff that's coming, because I've been working on the plans today. Yeah, you got to stop using those debit cards. I mean, because essentially your debit card is attached to your checking account. If they compromise your debit card, I mean, she got cleaned out. And I knew how they got in. They got in through her debit card. I was like, use your debit card for everything. She's like, yep. It's like, stop doing that. Start using the credit card. Pretty much. That's a good thing, Tim A. That's a good thing. Flo Coon, thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. So let's kind of get off into what I have learned. Do you guys know that this holiday season was the largest holiday spend ever? This past holiday season was the largest holiday spend ever. And I know that sounds kind of crazy with this year that we've had with massive unemployment. I got a list of things I want to go. Highest holiday spend ever. in history. But you afraid to start a business because you don't think there's no money out there. I went to the mall. I took some videos. They're on my YouTube stories. Malls were packed. I went to the grocery store yesterday, which was a Monday. It felt like a weekend there was so many people in there. So there's money out here. There is money out here. I know. I haven't quite decided. I'm going to work on that tomorrow because I was working on. I got a lot of projects for 2021. I mean, the largest holiday spend ever. See, now let's talk about this was a really good year for me. It was a really good year for me. But what happened? Let's go ahead and observe my behavior. When this whole thing started, what did I do? I went to work. I did not sit down. I did not look, even though my tone has changed on the government money, if you're in the position to get the government money, take it. Take it. My whole position has changed on that because I was looking at it from the situation that I was good and I didn't need no government money. I was good, but I wasn't looking at it from the vantage point of you. If you are a person, you need to start a business. You need to have your EIN. You need to have your business checking out because this is a way for you to get some government stimulus in your life on a higher level. So I didn't really think of it from that vantage point the first time we had this conversation. I mean, hey, this is why you want to have, there is no Savage Money website. Yeah, people were out shopping. People were out shopping. But this year was like one of the best years ever financially for me. Why? I chose to take action. I chose to do work. I did not stick my head in the sand and go, woe is me. And this is behavior that you guys can mirror. This is stuff that you guys can do. This is something that you guys can set up. Because 2021, we had the highest holiday sales, but this has been the record number of business closures this year. Highest holiday sales, but also the record number. More businesses closed this year during the Great Depression. Think about that. More businesses this year closed than during the Great Depression. Also, for a moment, we've had very high unemployment. Unemployment is still high. There's a lot of people. I was able to get the PPP forgiven for my job. That's the goal. Hey. All right, Skim Champagne, get that government money. Go ahead and get it. See, we have the highest number of business closures, high unemployment. What you're going to see is the tale of two different Americas. There are a lot of people like me in a very good situation. And there's a lot of people who, I was watching this video earlier, this woman, her and the husband got evicted during the pandemic. So what has happened is the gulf between the haves and the have-nots, it got wider during this pandemic. It got wider. Bruce Leroy, change your mindset. Hey. There's all kinds of deals. We'll be talking about that in the corporate toolbox next year because I haven't even started my demo account with Forex. So we will be talking about that next year in the corporate toolbox. Explain. I see COVID lasting until this time next year. We're going to be dealing with this until this time next year. This thing's not going to disappear. It's not going to go away. Even with a vaccine, once they start getting people vaccinated, we're still going to, because until they get about 75% of the world's population vaccinated, we're still going to be dealing with this. Thank you, Harlow. Appreciate that. Because the corporate toolbox is going to get more interesting. Let's go down this list. This is something else I learned during the pandemic. All of these people who are in forbearance, they got forbearance for their mortgage, right? They did not get forbearance for their property taxes. Hello, it's the tax man. What do we know? What happens to homeowners who don't pay their property taxes? They lose their homes. This is something like, unless they come up with some type of federal level Band-Aid for this problem, these folks are about to run into a big issue because all these people who are on forbearance, who are not paying their mortgages, they're not paying into their escrow accounts. So they're going to miss property taxes. And it's going to be a huge problem. It's going to be a huge problem. Huge problem. Thanks for the $1 super chat. Well, I feel that a lot of people were sick and tired of this year being cooped up, and when they could get out and spend some money, they just let loose. But this is part of the looming foreclosure crisis that's going to start in 2021 and it's going to start taking fire in 2022. Because when you look at right now, there's this website, CoreLogic. We have the highest number of mortgage delinquencies since before the Great Recession. So all of these people who are not paying their mortgage, they're not going to be paying their property taxes. There's going to be so much opportunity for people with some cash. It's crazy. Yes, it is crazy what you can do with the corporate structure. Well, hey, this is something else. Business went on during the pandemic. Business went on. All right. Tax foreclosures are going to boom. This because essentially what we're seeing during this global reset is a big changing of the guard. Because like me, I'm part of the upper class. I mean, let me tell you what I did during this pandemic. I didn't do any remodeling because the house. Let's see. Hold on a second. I did not do any remodeling, but so what you're seeing is the die. Also, something else that I learned during the pandemic, women are leaving the workforce in droves. First of all, they don't really make a lot of money to begin with. Over half of the workforce makes less than $33,000 a year. So if you are a mother, like the workforce is like 160 million people. So 80 something million of those people are women. And if we go to the lower number, the lower half, to the 80 million people who are making less than $33,000 a year, that means that there's like 40 something million women making less than 33,000. That's not enough money to pay daycare and work a job. So a lot of women are exiting the workforce because of their kids. Yes, the investors are just like, oh man, tax lien is going to be off the chain. Rich got richer and the poor got poor. Pretty much. Like, I had perfectly good vehicles. I sold my Audi on eBay because I knew that I wasn't going to get anything for it on Craigslist because it was a special car, and I sold it for good money on eBay. And the guy paid me and had someone, and he lives in Arizona. And literally, I talked to him that morning, that afternoon, he had someone come pick the car up. And he left good feedback. Because I sold that car for like $8,000 on eBay. And then I got me a Porsche. And then I wanted a fancier Porsche. So I traded that Porsche in on a fancier Porsche. Then I upgraded my SUV. This is what I've been doing. Like, there's really nothing that needs to be done around here in terms of home projects. I don't really need to do anything, but that's what I was doing. And I got me, during the pandemic, I got me 3 video editors. I got me an assistant, been hiring people, upgrading cars, and there will be more of the same in 2021. The pandemic taught me that properly positioning yourself ahead of times turn critical times into times of opportunity. Can I get an amen? What did I do when this whole thing started? You can go back and see, this is the good thing about YouTube. You can go back to February on this channel and check my work. You can go back and see what I was doing. It's video proof of what I was doing. Because one of the things I kept telling people, take this time to make yourself more valuable. Take this time to create a new skill set. Take this time to upgrade yourself. Take this time to learn new skills. If you're at home, you're getting the $600 plus on top of your unemployment. Don't just sit at home and chill. Take an online course. Do something. But, most folks, they were just chilling. Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill. AKW, my wife was one of those women who left the workforce in September. Hey, this is something else we saw in 2020, the year of the murder hornet. Another thing that we saw, the pandemic has changed work forever. We got people who will never work in the office again. Remote work has been on the... All right. I can't help you out if your state's website's down, man. There's nothing I can do. Get in line, man, because there's more money coming. I don't blame her. The COVID has brought this good, bad, and ugly. Yes, Glenn, you said this. Yeah, I predicted this. Because essentially, if you are a woman and you're a good woman and you're a good mother and you have children, it's an easy decision. I can stay here at this job where I'm not making no money, or I can go home and take care of my kids. It's an easy decision. It's an easy decision. Because one of the things, like, let's go back to Honey Bunny's comment about being prepared. I was preparing for this recession. I was preparing for COVID 4 or 5 years ago. See, this is the thing, because I had a lot of people who were emailing me. It's like, hey, the IRS website's down. I'm like, I've been screaming. You should have an LLC and you should have your EIN. And I've been screaming this. For years. And people like, oh. See, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And there's going to be, this is say, the gulf between rich and poor has like the difference between rich people and poor people. It's become like, here's something from one of my friends who owns, he doesn't, he and I talk a lot. We think very similar. His average home that he rents out starts at $450,000. He gets $3,800 a month for that, and I think he's got $1 million property where he's getting $6,000 a month. None of his tenants were late during COVID. And then another friend who was trying to get me to be seriously leveraged, half his tenants didn't pay, and he got mortgages on these properties. He's got 25 properties and 12 tenants did not pay. 12. They didn't pay, man. They didn't pay. Oh, there's many things. I've seen people work 4 10-hour shifts versus working Monday through Friday. But you're about to see, because like essentially, I want you guys to pay attention to what I did. I want you to, because I got folks who watch everything I do, but I do stuff right in front of your noses. You don't notice it. I got richer during the pandemic. I got richer. Now, I have positioned myself to get richer. And I'm going to position myself in 2021 to get even richer. Hey, Kai-san, I've been pushing people. You started prepping 2 years ago? Matt C., what's the point of an LLC if your business isn't making money? I'm confused. Ye of little knowledge, son. First of all, let's go ahead and have this conversation. We live in the United States of America, which is governed by the rule of law. And if you know the law and understand the law, an LLC can be of great and massive benefit to you, even if it ain't making no money. See, Matt, this is the thing you got to understand. And this is one of my projects that I was going to kick off next year. I'm going to be running ads to this because so many people don't understand the law. Essentially, for the cost of, let's go ahead and say, Matt C., you had a holding company, and let's say you were in the state of Georgia. You had a holding company and 2 operating companies. You know how much money that was going to cost you? $300. $300. You get your business checking. All right, let's say it costs you $400. And then it's going to cost you an additional $75 per year administration fee. So we're talking about $550, less than the price of the average car note to set up your corporate identity. It's well worth it. I use Alzo. Kid 108, it looks like property prices are going way up due to housing shortages, especially in ATL. What's going to happen? Housing prices are going to continue to go up in 2021. And then once these protected people who are in forbearance. Once this starts to filter through the system, and then these houses flood the market, the prices will go down. But yeah, the prices are going to go up. Like, also, bug in your ear. Do you know you can get an FHA loan with a 580 credit score? You can get an FHA loan with a 580 credit score. Just giving you some information. Blew my mind when I heard that. This year was the perfect example of staying ready so you don't have to get ready. Pretty much, Harlow. Pretty much. All right, X-Blind Royalty. No, there ain't no Facebook. Like, y'all, look, I am not starting a Facebook group for the corporate toolbox. Nope, there's no Facebook group. There might be a Discord group next year because essentially a lot of y'all don't even show up for the webinars. So I'm not going to set up a Facebook group to be answering a whole bunch of questions. Nope, no Facebook group. Facebook groups are pretty much one of the worst things from a learning environment that you can have. I would probably set up my own server or something like that if I go that route. Well, a lot of these landlords are going to be in some dire straits, man. MGM, they're going to be in some dire straits. Well, I'm off break because essentially, let me tell you what happened to me, William Brown. I was like waking up at 11, watching TV, hanging out with my friends, and then that was 4 days. And after about 4 days of that, I was ready to go back to work. Then I got sick, and then I spent 2 days in bed. So the break is over. We got to get back to work. Jeremiah Hamilton, thank you for the $50 super chat. Jeremiah Hamptons, I heard about LLCs before. When I found your channel and seen your conviction, I took action. Now me, my fiance, my sister, and my friend are corporate citizens and have a profitable business. I have my holding company. Can't wait to find. Hey, you're going to see some love from the Internal Revenue Service next year, Jeremiah Hamilton. You're going to see some love. Good work, man. Good work. Oh, all right. Sure thing. Yes, FHA loan. You can get a loan with a 580 credit score. I had a consult with a real estate agent and he blew my mind with that. Because essentially what kills people is not their credit score. It's their debt to income ratio that messes people up for mortgages. Crazy. Yeah, because I'm going to have to give that some thought because the participation for the days that I do the two webinars, I don't get a lot of folks who show up. So essentially, if you look at it from my standpoint, if I set up a Discord group or Facebook group, that's one more thing I got to manage. And, if I'm not getting the participation that I need for the live trainings, why do I want to set up a Facebook group or a Discord group? I know Discord is better than Facebook, but, it's interesting because we're going to have to get way more participation on the live trainings before I even do that. Pretty much fluid flows. Because see, wealth is a behavior. It's a mindset. It's not something that you do. All right, Tim A. Yes, it is, Cammy. Mindset is everything. Because another thing, hold on. Automation is crazy. Everybody wants to be in the house. During this pandemic, living up in a cramped apartment sucked. Like, I got 5,000 square feet, and not at one point did I ever feel cramped. Like, I can go hang out on the patio. I can hang in the living room. I can go upstairs. I got room to roam. If I had like two little kids around here, they could have ran around the house and got tired. Having a house is where it is, man. People want a house. That's exactly right. I bought my house last year with a 580 score. Mazda. Hey. Oh, really? They've done that? Once again, I have been screaming at you guys to have a business. I've been screaming at you guys. Like, all right, for 2021, because there's some other points I'm going to address in a minute. But for 2021, everyone needs to start a holding company and at least 2 operating companies, get them set up with their EINs, get your corporate banking set up. You need to do that ASAP. You need to do that ASAP, because let's say you don't know what you want to do when you grow up. You should give your business some kind of generic name and then fill up and do the businesses later. You should get this set up, because I was having a conversation with my banker and she was like, I've done so many business checks because these folks were getting that PPP money. They were getting that EDLL money, man. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah, I'm not doing a Facebook group. You don't have to worry about that. Thank you, Muhammad. I already done a house tour. It's somewhere on this channel. All right. G-Rod's giving information. Square's giving PP loan. Got my first, only 5K, but apply for loan forgiveness. Haven't heard yet. All right. We're gonna start working on that peppermint tea. We're gonna work on the communication, because a lot of people have Gmail accounts and Gmail filters everything. It's crazy. All right, Muhammad, I appreciate that. Sure you can, Rich Gang. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Prostitution is off of the chain right now. Crime has gone up. Vices have gone up. Now, this is a sad thing that I've learned in 2021 and 2020. Kids are getting left behind. This whole disruption in the school year, because if you look at it, a lot of school systems are pretty shitty to begin with. So kids, this year for a lot of kids they might as well miss this year. John Sanders, I don't know anything about the storage auction business in 2020. From what I've heard, they do everything online, so I don't know anything about that. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, essentially, what you guys need to do is go ahead and get your holding company. It ain't gonna cost you a grip. For less than the one car note, you can get your corporate structure set up. And this is one of the things I'm going to start pushing people to do, because, I was kind of, I was like a little hornet, like in your ear, in your ear. Now I'm going to like, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. Peanut Butter Hero, a client of mine filed for his LLC recently and got the EIDL money. That's what I said, not the PPP money. And I also did some consults with some people who did get the PPP money and the EDL money and they didn't have a business. Yes, we're gonna go. We're gonna go corporately hard in 2021. What do you mean? How far can you carry your deductions in your business? What What do you mean? G Rod, do what you want to do, man. If you want a house and you're in the position to afford a mortgage, do it. Instinct set up a holding company with a nope. All right, I I'm gonna say something, and I may regret saying this, but all right, age corporations don't work the way that they used to. Okay. However, there's still going to be a market for age corporations from now on forever. Bandman Kevo did a video talking about you could get an age corp and get up to 500K in 3 weeks. And I watched that video. He kind of cleaned it up toward the end, but you could go ahead and set up some corporations and let them age and sell them for thousands of dollars. I'm like, the corporate game is so deep. Because essentially, if I was a shit, because essentially I don't sell things like that because I know the truth. Like an age corporation years ago, if you bought an age corp or a shelf corp, you inherited the credit record. But business credit was so different back then. I remember when I set up my first, it took me 6 months from start to 100K in business credit with no personal guarantee. Then we had the Great Recession, which created a whole new set of laws. And one of those laws is the banks, I forget the name of the laws, but the banks have to know who they're doing business with. So this will prevent you from buying an age corp and inheriting its credit record. Essentially, the creditors are going to make you requalify if you're a new owner, unless you can get the old owner to stay on the corporate papers and share that credit profile with you, which if I was selling you my company, I wouldn't want to do that. Yep, my kid is basically being babysat via the internet. It's awful, and I've been exploring my options. Yeah, because kids are seriously getting left behind during this. Like if you were, once again, the tales of two societies. There's the poor society and there's the well-to-do society. And the kids who, with parents who have money, they're getting tutors, they're getting special trainings. They're not getting left behind. But the average poor kid this year, zero. They got left behind. They got left behind. I mean, yeah, the school systems just sucked. Hey, once again, we're going to get into a whole bunch of new training next year, man. Retire in 10. Yes, we talk about that. What's up, Pody? I don't know anything about that pallet business. I've seen many videos talking about the simplest business. If it works, it works. I don't know anything about it. Pretty much opulence, ES excellence. I mean, yes, you can take certain deductions and carry them forward up to like, I believe 10 years. But you got to have losses. Like, let's say this computer. I bought this computer in 2020. This is a deduction for my business. But if I bought this computer, if I didn't take this deduction this year, unless there was some other financial trickeration that you could do, I would lose that deduction. Menderson Mall, I have no clue. I've never applied for the PPP loan. I don't know. I don't know how that goes. Nope, cash is not going to completely disappear for at least 20, 30 years. Do it. Will Melvin, the holding each company in your corporate structure, from the holding company to the operating companies, have their own checking account. But it's crazy. My son is excelling because he's been able to be with me while I work, so I can help him directly when needed. Hey, the fact that you can actually work and be with your son is a blessing. GR's infantry P control made my first 100K this year, but got to get a grip on taxes and underwriting important, trying not to write off everything. Well, you could write off everything, but when you try to go get a loan or something, that's going to come back to haunt you. All right. Pretty much. This is something that you can do. Extraordinary. This is something that we're probably going to touch on next year. You can set up a corporation, set up a holding company, set up 2 operating companies, pay the fees, let it age, give it to your kid. And it's 5 years old, and he's got his own corporate structure. Hey, a gift that keeps giving. All right, skin champagne. There seems to be a lot of confusion with this. LLCs versus S Corps versus C Corps. Really quickly. An S Corp is not a special type of corporation. An S Corporation is a tax election that you take with the Internal Revenue Service. You have to fill out a form and fax it or mail it to the Internal Revenue Service. And this allows your company to be taxed as an S Corp. You can do an S Corp for an LLC, or you could do an S Corp for a C Corporation. Okay? Now, what is the benefit of turning into an S Corp? The benefit is you can only pay payroll taxes, which are like 17%, because this is how they hit me. They hit me for payroll taxes out my check, and then the company has to pay like almost another $2,000 per check in payroll taxes. So when you form an S Corp, the only thing that you pay on payroll taxes is your salary, and the rest of your compensation can be taken as dividends. Now, LLCs, your S Corp can be an LLC, your holding company can be an LLC, your operating company can be an LLC. So, because there seems to be a lot of confusion with that. All right, based on payroll. Okay. Pretty much, Brian Nice. Pretty much. You were screwed if you just... Eldermer, I would recommend that you create an online course about something that you actually know about. I know many people have tried to create a course about something they didn't know about, and it usually fails. Uncle G, what things would you write off? Anything you buy for your business, man. Y'all want to help your kids start with a 401k right now. If you don't drop a few hundred now, they have an 18-year start on 99% of the people. So that's interesting, because the math is, if you start investing at 21 with $100 a month, and you keep investing $100 a month, you'll be a millionaire by the time you're 60. So if you were to like start investing for your kid, and your kid was like 1, and you put $100 a month away for your kid between 1 and 18, by the time he's 21, he'll be a millionaire. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Heads up, JB Well. Set up the LLC, but not the holding company. Go ahead and enroll in the corporate toolbox. Breath fresh air. One of my company does 35K a year, 15K deduction would get me back. You think 10, 12? Well, Rich Gang, it really depends. You know, depends on what you got going on. You need to look at the full picture. It's called QuickBooks, Jesse. It's called QuickBooks. All right. Hey, if you want to deal with that type of clientele, knock yourself out. What kind of corporate structure would you recommend for a solo freelance photographer? The same one that I'm recommending in the corporate toolbox. Because, first of all, I got to do this webinar why you should start more than one business. And let me write that down. Why you All right, I'm going to give you a quick overview. All right. I make between 6,000 and 9,000 a month, just pure YouTube money. Now, that doesn't come from one channel. I have 3 channels that are monetized. And one of the things that is happening is I'm learning. If I hadn't known this, I would have did this years ago if I had known it was going to go like this, because Savage Finance makes the most money. This channel makes the second money. And Disruptive Mail, I don't know what happened this month, but this month, Disruptive Mail, this is the most money that Disruptive Mail has ever made from YouTube. And the disruptive, so between Savage Finance, Hustlers Kung Fu, Disruptive Mail, and the OnlyFans page, I see that hitting like maybe 10K next month between those 4 internet properties. So if you start more than one business, you can have one business that's making you a grip, and you can have 2 businesses that make you a little bit, but the whole pie is tasty. The whole pie is tasty, because I'm going to do a special webinar on that. Because one of the things I'm going to do, and Okay. That was crazy. Well, my computer just started updating during the middle of the live stream. I don't know what was going on with that. But yeah, that kind of that kind of blew me. Let's see. All right. That was, I don't know. I don't know what happened. That was crazy. All right. 2020 was a great year for me. I mean, it was crazy. The parts about starting a business fluid flows. Polly Robinson, you'll probably have to get a secured credit card. Nah, that was my computer. But, I'm all off flow right now, so I'm just going to end this and I'll be back with some more stuff a little later. So, y'all have a good evening. For everyone that wants to get in the corporate toolbox, the price is going to go up in January. I haven't determined what that's going to be, but you want to get in now, today, tomorrow, and the 31st. So, with that, I'll see you guys later.